Okay, so let's go ahead and jump in on Article 1, which is the warrant articles. Has everybody had a chance to see them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, two very simple ones. One is instead of asking for $67.50 like we had last year, and we ran out of funds very quickly, I've gone and posted that for $10,000 as a warrant article from free cash. Anybody have any comments, questions, concerns, complaints on that one?
Yeah, Dave, this is Mike. I mean, it looks good. The only thing I want to throw, we never really, we discussed this a little bit, but we never came to a conclusion, is if we wanted to try to do the benthic mat survey. And the cost I have from the vendor, Wendy Gendron, was $2,500 for that. And that covers one day of their pontoon boat out there with an underwater camera. So I'm just throwing that out. I don't know if we've ever gotten a good. You still hear me? Computer.
We talked about doing that, yeah.
Something. So computer just did something weird. But anyway, I'm not sure we have a good answer from TRC about that. But I just want to throw that out. You know, I personally think it might provide us with some interesting information, but I think there's a risk that it wouldn't work so well. So it's one of those things. It's, you know, I tend to kind of try to push the envelope a little bit. And sometimes it works out good, sometimes it doesn't. But
if there's a mat down there, doesn't it seem like it would be the way to go? What we ought to do?
Well, I do think the pond's clear enough that and you know that their camera would be able to see the mat. Yeah, and we'd get an idea. I suspect the mat is probably only in deeper water. And then the part of the question I would have for TRC, let's say that we do know where the mat is. The mat's this blob, you know, maybe 5 acres or so on the bottom of the pond. If we know where it is, would that help inform like a treatment protocol? Maybe that's the area you would hit with a compound to bind phosphorus. You know, so you instead of doing a whole lake phosphorus treatment, you do, you know, those 5 acres or whatever. But I don't, you know, I think well, we're probably gonna be talking TRC fairly soon, and maybe we can ask them that question. Actually, we can also ask that question through our comments on their documents. But
I hadn't realized.
You know, and so what I'm suggesting is if we, you know, we could add this cost to the warrant article and then pull it back if we decide we don't want to do it. So.
Okay, so you're suggesting increasing that to 12.5 to cover the cost of the benthic mapping. Yeah. I can board with that. Any other discussion? Do I have a motion to accept the draft warrant article at $12,500 for our routine water testing and the benthic mapping?
So moved.
Have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Okay, so we have 4 ayes. All right, so we will do that. The question I have is I still haven't seen anything official on the town about the warrant being opening, but I know there's been some discussion that usually it's open by now and it's almost
Closes
It's
on
open.
Friday.
It's
It's open.
open.
It was a very quiet open. But I asked
Yeah,
directly
and
and
it
they said,
closes
oh
on
yeah, it's
closes
Friday.
open.
soon. It closes
Closes
Right.
on Friday.
Yeah.
It closes Friday? Okay.
Yep.
All right, so I will have to get these in very quickly.
Dave, did you have the form that that goes with it, or the format? You know,
Yes, sir.
okay, okay.
And the
Because
second,
okay,
go ahead, Mike.
okay. No, that's good. I just want to make sure you had the
Yep, I have
the
the form. I
form.
have the warrant article.
Okay.
The second warrant article, and this is going to tie in with the cyanobacteria proposal, and I'm just floating this as an idea just to get something on the warrant, because I don't know if we're going to have a meeting with the Board of Health and RECCOM before Friday when the warrant closes. So I want to, I've got a $2,500 placeholder in there to fund the cyanobacteria protocol. And I'm becoming more and more positive that the Board of Health and RECCOM is going to buy on it.
Right. Matt wrote
I
That's what Matthew wrote in his last email, that they hoped and plan to cover the cost.
Well, I don't know, so I'm just throwing something. I want to throw something in there so we don't wind up cost. And that would be one of the discussion items that we have with the Board of Health and RECCOM, is who's actually funding this.
Right.
But I think I would like to get something in the warrant. So the second article that I'm proposing, and I'm going to change the data on that, because looking at my most recent updates, it comes in at like $4,900 for the year and some change. Should I adjust that amount up to $5,000 to cover worst case scenario where we have both scenarios 2 and 3? Because $2,500 will cover a year of just routine testing, but it doesn't allow for a scenario 2 where somebody sees a mat and we go in and we test it, and both the litmus test, the Abraxas test strips, and the water quality samples also shows the cell counts below level. So worst case scenario is we get both sometime during the summer. Someone sees some green scum, we test it, and it comes to less than $5,000 for the year. So should I put that amount on the warrant draft?
Dave, I did have I had some thoughts about the testing lab for the phytoplankton, for the plankton.
Yeah, I saw your email.
And that, that might add some cost depending on what decision is made there. And so I don't know. I would maybe go a little higher. At least it can always come down.
Okay. Or if we don't
and
use the money.
then the other question is, I'm wondering if there might be some how this was costed, but let's say there's a scum at the beach like there was last summer. So you grab a sample there, and then a few hours later the scum's gone.
Mm-hmm.
I would think it'd be a good idea to take a sample then too. So that would be 2 phytoplankton samples or 2 algal samples during an event like that. So so that might add a little bit of cost. I'm just talking about it in terms of adding cost.
That's kind of the way scenarios 2 and 3 are written. So the most recent update that I sent just before the meeting started was let's use scenario 2. Somebody sees a scum, we go over, we grab an algal sample and send that off to, just using Northeast because they're the closest.
Mm-hmm.
And we, chances are we're going to get same day results. So I've adjusted the cost of those to incorporate the 16 weeks that the beach is open, of the weekly routine monitoring algal numbers, and any of these special scenarios, scenario 2 or scenario 3, to incorporate some of those other numbers. So they're a little higher than they were before, and total cost for the year comes in at like $5,000. But in scenarios 2 and 3, on the bottom page, I've incorporated that testing scenario that you're talking about, Mike.
So is it, in other words, two samples basically almost the same day?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
But in each scenario, I put in 3 basically same-day result tests just to give us a little cushion.
So I've had a question about that. My understanding is the toxin itself is released as the cells die.
Correct.
So is there a value in testing while the scum is still evident?
Well, that's where that second test after the scum disappears would be
I understand.
beneficial.
So the second test makes more sense to me than, I guess it makes more sense to me to do the test after the scum disappears, because that's when the toxin will appear.
Mm.
But the results we're going to get from the first test is going to be cell counts. So if the cell counts of a blue-green algae are above 70,000, which is the advisory level, that's where, that's one of the triggers. If the cell counts are below.
No, I understand that. I understand that.
Yep.
So is the first 10 then just cell counts, or is it both concentration and cell count?
If we get we're going to get both. We're going to get enumeration and quality, and the microsystem levels.
Yeah. So is there any benefit or cost savings in doing just the counts initially?
If we get the cell counts too high, then we're going to go into the Mass Department of Health protocol. But if the Abraxas test strip is still low and the cell counts are still low, we can keep the beach open.
I guess I'm still, again, if we just forget it.
No,
I was just wondering if we might save a little bit of money by just doing the cell counts as the first.
Well, I'm basing these scenarios on worst case scenarios. So, and when we meet again with BOH and RECCOM, they may say, they may ask that very same question and decide, we probably can save a little money if we wait and test. But right now, I'm going on worst case scenarios as far as they'll want instant results. They'll want to know basically same day if they should call, and get MDPH involved and then shut the pond down.
I mean, I think there's a chance, probably pretty low probability, that if you see a scum by the beach, that it's not a blue-green. And I think that's what you'd be basically confirming what you're pretty sure of, is that it is a blue-green, but there's a chance it's not. It could conceivably be something else.
Or it could also be a scum that doesn't have advisory level counts of concentration.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
So there's.
But I think I suspect if you do this long enough, you're going to find almost every time you see a scum like been seen at the beach. We've got photos of that's probably blue-green, but until you test, you're not completely sure about it.
Right, and we're getting such low levels when we do test also.
And but before the standing, town protocol, was if you see the scum, we report it up to MDPH. They say put on an advisory, and we wind up closing the beach. At least this gives us the opportunity to get some results, and that may say, no, we're good on both the Abraxas test strips and the cell counts.
Right.
So we can keep the beach open. That's where I in scenario 2, I put Pratt Pond may remain open. So that's still, that gives us a little bit of wiggle room.
Is this a little bit like what Wayland is doing?
This is exactly what Wayland is doing.
That's
and
what I thought,
they've been doing weekly testing, and they've been posting their cell counts on the Board of Health website. So that's where that verbiage in the latest protocol is, because it's getting information out to the town that, here we're testing, here's the results, everybody's safe.
Are they posting cell counts based on the test strips?
No, the test strips don't give cell counts. They're doing water quality.
No, I understand that. Okay, I misspoke there. But are they reporting concentration on the basis of the test strips, or is it there's no, sort of?
No, they're posting E. coli numbers and the actual cell counts from the water.
So they're doing a cell count test every week.
Yeah. Which is
that
basically
can't be same day turnaround though.
No, they're 7 to 10 days.
Okay.
So the only time I'm going for the same day testing would be if somebody sees the green scum or the Abraxas test strip, suddenly flashes red or whatever color it turns.
Yep. But are we going to be doing the weekly 7-day test as well?
Yes.
Where do I see that on the cost analysis?
That should be scenarios 2 and 3. You should see the 16 weeks of the weekly testing at $1,600, and then the 3 same day at $1,620.
Maybe it changed since you distributed it initially. The one I'm looking at doesn't have those numbers.
Okay, the most recent iteration that I sent out probably 30 minutes before the meeting started, when I incorporated Sally's changes that she recommended. It was a good catch on her part that I added in there. So it might be sitting in your email.
I'm sure it is.
Okay, so we have a motion to put in the funding for the cyanobacteria response protocol.
Is this the one that Mike wanted to add a little bit to?
No, this is basically a standalone just to get some dollars for funding the protocol. And we can, when we meet with the Board of Health and Retcom, we'll decide whose budget that's going to fall under.
So this
Dave,
is
would
the
you consider
second
a
warrant
friend?
article? That's 2,500. Mike wanted to add to that, right?
Oh no, this is a second article.
Yeah,
Right.
Lori.
I'm looking at it. It's 2,500, but I thought I heard you say we should add more.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to ask if we could bump it to 6,000. Dave, would you mind? Would you mind that? Just.
We're throwing darts here. We can put any number on there we want.
Yeah. We can always come down when we.
And once we get some buy-in from Retcom and Board of Health, they may say, no, we'll only go for the 497024, whatever the number is on the total annual cost. So I can bump that. I will bump that to 6. And do I have a motion to accept that draft warrant
So,
article?
and just to be clear, then, in total, we're asking for $16,000.
Correct.
No, because
Which
we
is-
made the $10,000 one 12.5 now.
So we're
Oh,
between-
God, now
Right.
we're almost at 20.
Right.
Yeah,
Although this 6,000 could be someone else. It could be the Board of Health asking for it, not us. So,
Right.
Well,
So we don't
Otherwise,
know
no,
that
but from
yet.
a budget
22.5.
perspective,
Yeah.
it's a bigger number,
yeah.
regardless of who you count for it with.
Right. We went from 7,500 this year to 22.5.
No, it's at 18,
18.5.
18.5.
Which the way I look at it is it can't hurt to ask. I do know
Oh,
that
yeah.
the instructions were to level fund, but if this is important enough or seems reasonable to basically the finance community, then we're fine. And that's certainly what we're doing.
And just imagine what Steve will say when he sees this.
Bill, can I ask a question? When level fund, was that really meant for the budget? Did that include warrant articles when they say that? Or is it just a line item budget?
Well, it is the line item budget, but since we don't actually have a line item budget, again, and I think there's going to be some, if I understood correctly what Dennis was saying, there'll be some headwinds from the schools as well in terms of their needs.
Sure.
So, but I think we should ask for what we just described, and I move that we ask for 12.5 and 6. And I think we'll probably get some degree of challenge, but maybe not.
And we have evidence to support it because of the new testing from last year.
Mm-hmm. So I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. All in favor?
So motion is that, Bill, we already voted 12.5K for the first one. So would you accept a friendly amendment to just vote 6K on this one? We're voting on the second.
Sure.
Okay,
Sure.
okay, thank you. So that's what we're voting on, 6K for the second article.
Yep.
Okay.
Aye.
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 Unanimous. Motion carried. Thank you very much. All right. Let's go see what else we got on the agenda tonight. Grant proposals update. This is more of an information kind of thing. And it ties in with item number 5 on the agenda. Our committee is not eligible for the water quality testing through the state 319 or whatever the hell it was programs. That is for collaboratives and consortiums and things like that that are not municipal or educational. So we would not be eligible for those water quality testing grants. I have been in touch with the Blackstone River Coalition, with Heather Parry, and they apply for those types of grants on a fairly regular basis. They're waiting to hear to see if they got awarded some for this fiscal year, and they have offered. If we have some projects that we really are looking at, they may be able to share some of that funding with us, but I'm thinking we wouldn't enter into any sort of that collaboration with until FY 26-27. Basically next year. Also talked with the Lake Maspinock Association. They're also independent, so they would be eligible for funding, but they have never done any of those grant applications. The Worcester Cyanobacteria Monitoring Consortium, that is also run by the city of Worcester, so they are not eligible. So right now, the water quality testing grants kind of off the table for us.
Dave, can I just for the minutes, who did you talk to Blackstone Watershed Coalition, is that?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to get that right. Okay.
Yep.
And what was the name? Heather?
Heather Parry. She's the
He-
water quality manager
Okay.
for the Blackstone River Coalition. One of the emails that I sent everybody out a couple weeks ago, there's a whole alphabet soup collection of organizations all wrapped around the Blackstone River. So it gets pretty complicated. But who I was talking to was Heather Parry, the water quality manager for the Blackstone River Coalition.
Thanks.
And to go back to your question about TRC and the benthic mapping, I had asked Anna Chase about that earlier, and she sent me a rather long email about it. I'll dig it up again and forward it to everybody because she talked about it. I don't think she has a whole lot of warm and fuzzies that the optical mapping may work so well with the diver and the camera, but it's, you know, but she also said, but we don't know, it might work. So it's typical bureaucratese, but I will dig that up and send it out to everybody again.
Mm-hmm.
Item number 3 is the cyanobacteria protocol updates, and the most recent version, I sent it out, like I said, just about 30 minutes before the meeting commenced. Item number 4, and Killian, are you still with us? You're muted.
Oh, yeah, I am, sorry.
Okay, is the Taft Pond history. Killian has been working on that. He's found out some stuff. And Bill, did you see his email that sent out on the 23rd? He wanted to connect with, because you had told me that you had done some, found some research on that as well.
That is true. I did see it. I didn't have a chance to do anything about it.
Okay. Because I want to get that wrapped up pretty quick. This has been, I'd like to have this done by Friday. So if you have any research and you have time, can you try and get us something by Friday?
Bill, are you ground zero for town meeting with Dennis being the town manager right now?
I'm not ground zero.
Yeah.
Not me.
No.
Cillian, can you send me what you have? Because I will add whatever I have.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you. We've already. Next item on the list that I've got is a Goss Pond visit. I'm all up for it, and Mike seems to be very interested in it. And really, the only thing that we would have to decide on is a date to actually go tromping through the snow to go visit Goss Pond. I've never seen it, never been there. I would like to see it. Maybe get some water samples, some routine stuff, dissolved oxygen, pH, things like that. Is anybody else in the group interested in braving the cold and the snow to go see what Goss Pond looks like?
I can't go this year, but do you need me to get the access through Charlotte and Kevin's yard, Mike?
Yeah, we could go either way. We could access it off green, or through your friend's yard.
Which is easier?
I think they're relatively similar. You have to do a little bit of bushwhacking through the woods and then through some low shrubs. If you come off Green Lane, probably a little bit more bushwhacking than you do if you come off your from your friends. But I remember that's a pretty steep slope going down from your friends, right? If I remember right. Do I remember that right?
I think I remember a little bit of a dock.
Oh yeah, there is a bit of, there's some planks. at that end. It's I don't know if you'd call it a dock, but and that was like we were there last, I think, when we put the kayaks into the pond. It's going to be 12 years ago now. So
Well, we're a
it's there
lot
now.
new.
Well, let me know if you want me to ask them. I will, but it'd be good if we have a date.
I could also go if you want me to, or if needed.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's an ice auger with your name on it, Cillian. All set to go.
Okay, so I'm pretty much available. There's like 3 dates that I wouldn't be available, but pretty much anything else I'm wide open. How flexible is your ability, Killian, with school?
Like on weekdays or weekends?
Like I said, if it happens during one of your long blocks,
I
how
could.
much flexibility do you have on either side of the long block?
I could probably miss a little bit of before or after. Like I don't really think they care that much. Like it's like I don't have insanely important classes before, so I could probably do some persuasion. But I think I could.
Okay, and I can also try and run some clearance for you with Ms. Bennett. So once we decide on a date, then I'll look at your schedule and I'll touch base with Ms. Bennett and see what we can do to get some clearance for you. So, Mike, if we want to decide on a date, I'm good for that.
Yeah, me too. I might prefer a weekend. Just many of the days during the week, I something is on my schedule. Temperature wise, I mean we're good at least through the end of next. Let's see, through day. I'm just looking at weather. Start next week. Today. Next week towards Tuesday, there may be a warm up, 36 degrees, on Wednesday, 37.
Okay.
But we're certainly good through the rest of this week, and it's probably really thick ice out there right now. So even if it warms up, next week we'd probably still be all right. But I mean, I could do Sunday. There's some football game on, right? What is that?
Not the weekend.
Who's that? Who's playing?
Yeah,
Not the
that starts at
Bills.
6:30
So I don't really
though.
care.
Yeah, that's next weekend.
My team is on vacation. But I could do Saturday.
Saturday the
talking
7th.
Saturday?
Yeah.
Is that Saturday the 7th you're talking about?
Yeah, that's one.
Because I believe that's supposed to be wicked cold and windy.
Yeah, it's going down to 1 degree.
Yeah,
at
you're
night.
right. Yeah, it
I'm
is.
looking
Well,
forecast. The high is predicted of 41 or 21 rather.
yeah, you got the same data.
It's cold.
Well, you want to try to go for next weekend? Chances are, even if it warms up during the week, it's not gonna
last.
Yeah. Well, we could watch the weather and maybe say, why don't we say 14th, unless it looks like we should get out there a little sooner during that week because of warming. How's that?
All right. 14th works for me. And
Killian, is that okay? You okay with
I'll
14th?
check my schedule. I can get back to you.
yeah, I don't think you got any track meets between now and then, do you?
Actually might. Because I know I have one. I couldn't do this weekend because I have 2, but then I don't know if I have any the week after, so I'll have to check.
Okay. Please check. Okay.
I just do want to throw something out. Just I know I joked around about the Super Bowl, but the Super Bowl's not until when? When does that start? Like 6 in the evening or something?
6:30.
It's like six.
So we could
next-
do Sunday, late Sunday afternoon, and everyone could be back in time for the game. You know,
Or
That
even-
day's going to be 15. That day's going to top up at 15 degrees. It's even worse
you're
than
right.
Saturday.
You're right. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, you're right.
that-
And Saturday and
Sunday
Sunday
the-
are not good this week.
Yeah, let's forget about it this week. I agree.
Yeah, but the Super Bowl is
This
not
week
till
we're
the
in right now would be perfect.
The Super Bowl starts at 6:30, so, but that's this Sunday.
Yeah, that's 14th. Good.
That sounds good. Isn't that Valentine's Day?
Yep.
details. That's
You,
what we're, hey,
you, you want to set a
I'm real-
time? How about like 11? 11? Is that okay?
Works for
works
me.
for me.
And we'll figure out where to meet.
Okay,
Okay, and I'll get permission from the cars.
Okay.
thank you so much. Okay, and the last item on our agenda for this evening is the March meeting. We've been meeting mostly remotely. We've had one in-person meeting, and is everybody getting tired of the remote meetings, or would you prefer to meet in person somewhere sometime? And it would also require a venue change. So I just want to put that out there and see what everybody thinks.
Well, the reason we met the last time in person is because we wanted to look at data a lot. Right now, our meetings are being on the short side, right? Little short meetings. So does it make sense
Well,
to meet in person?
well-
Does it-
If I could ask, is it possible we might be meeting with TRC in March to go
That's
over
another
comments?
possibility also, yeah.
Yeah, just
That's probably a probability.
So that would be virtual, I'm sure, right?
And to be honest with you, Lori, I don't know. I don't think we've actually had a face-to-face meeting at all with TRC. The kickoff meeting was remote,
Yeah.
and
Imagine they'll be
everything-
remote. Yeah.
and I think for, if this is going to be their final, I think, I think a face-to-face would be more appropriate.
Well, if they're willing to do it, to come out, that would be great.
well, they owe us they're going to owe us a presentation to the town
Hmm.
at some point. Probably not in March, but I mean that could be the one that's in person.
Yeah.
You could have them at the community center.
Do you think there'll be any preparation meetings heading into that?
Yeah,
This is a preparation for the whole town. We might need to meet with them first, too.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where I'm thinking.
So I would
There's a
go.
lot to go over and hash out, yeah.
Yeah, I would propose to go remote for March, and we can always change it if there's a reason to.
Yeah,
Um,
agree. I agree. Everybody okay with staying remote for March then?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. And actually, I thought we would, trying to beat up the protocol and everything, I thought we would be running later. Does anybody have any comments, things that I might have missed on the cyanobacteria protocol, gaping holes, recommendations for improvement? Because next time we meet,
so-
I want to have something really whole to give them.
I was looking at an earlier version at this point, but I did have a couple of follow-up questions.
Okay.
I want to make sure, what exactly does the test strip tell us account, or does it just tell us there's presence of cyanotoxin?
The presence of the cyanotoxins and it's
Well, toxin, right? It measures, it tests for one toxin.
yes.
Okay, but it's not fine enough that we can use it to discern between 8 parts per billion or whatever it is and 10 parts per billion.
I think there's a comparative color standard that comes with it.
Well, that's an extra cost, by the way. They do have basically test strips that are that have been set up to show you exactly how 10 looks, for example.
Yeah.
So we can probably have some degree or more degree of confidence that we're at 10 than some other number because we have a test strip we can compare our results to. However, 10 is over 8.
Yeah. So
I'm not sure how much value it adds, except it does tell us we're over. But it won't. There's just unfortunately there's that gap between 8 and 10, which is I don't know how meaningful it is, but.
Yeah, Matt has been in touch with Julia Juergens from the Wayland Board of Health, and they have been using the Abraxas test strips. So he's supposed to get me some information on what Julia provided him.
All right, so I can follow up with him, or you can let me know what he says.
Yes.
Okay. And the E. coli, that's really a separate thing, more or less?
That is absolutely a separate thing. That is mandated by the Mass Department of Public Health that all swimming facilities have to test for E. coli. So that's squarely in the Board of Health's lap.
All right. So I guess I was trying to put, like I said, a map, process map, flow chart, whatever. And I just need to understand better so I can make the flow chart more definitive. What exactly what we will be looking at and deciding from the test strips.
Yeah, the test strips are a qualitative test for cyanotoxins.
Yeah, I understand that. Again, I'm just trying to be able to describe in the flow chart what somebody will do when they look at the test strip, what actions they will take based on the test strips.
Yeah, they're going to have to compare it. We're probably going to have to buy the color standards unless the test kit comes with the color standards to compare it to, because I haven't seen these test kits in action, so I don't know exactly what's what on these test strips.
And right, so again, I guess from a flowchart perspective, we just need to know that so that we can build something that makes sense.
So it's.
But you say Matt is talking to Wayland about their
Correct.
experience with the test strips. That should answer the questions that I have.
Yeah, I'm gonna get hold of Matt from the Board of Health tomorrow because he told me he would send me that stuff last Friday, and this isn't Friday yet. So.
Yeah, and then who will? I guess is the intent that the Board of Health will be the party that does the weekly test strip testing?
I kind of built that into the protocol because on the end of basically every line of of what's what, it's who's doing what. The Board of Health, I have us in there to take the water samples and arrange to get them to the lab for testing, for the enumeration. I've got RecCom doing some stuff, basically posting the signs and things along those lines. So it's in parentheses at the end of each process.
Okay, my takeaway then is that I just wanted to confirm that it will be the Board of Health that, at least in the proposal, will be doing the test strip test.
Correct.
Okay,
They're,
okay.
they're E. coli testing and doing the litmus test paper at the same time seems pretty logical to me.
Yeah, I don't know who's collecting the water samples for the E.
don't know either.
coli testing.
It'd be good if those samples were collected at the same time too. Even if the Board of Health does it, then we could ship it or.
And that's fine detail stuff when,
Yeah.
I think the biggest jump is going to be everybody to buy off on this proposal. It sounds really good and it could be beneficial for us all. And there's a division of labor in there, so no one entity is completely overloaded with it all.
And so I have Bill. Are you? Is that it for you for now?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, thanks. I mean, I definitely like the protocol. The only kind of question I have is not really a question, but it's I have a lot of faith in Jim Sweet's lab, AA, aquatic analysts that we've been using. I think I have a little less confidence in Northeast. So initially, I sent Dave some comments that could we maybe send maybe for the routine samples, could we maybe send those to Sweet's lab? Now there's a higher cost. I think Dave, you're assuming $100 for Northeast, right?
It's college from Northeast, and I already checked with Jim out at Aquatic Analysts, and his costs are not going up. So
He's at one.
Are $120, 7 to 10 day turnaround. But what we get out of Aquatic Analysts is we get the breakdown of all of the algal samples that are in there and the levels. Whereas what we would be getting from Northeast for the weekly samples would just be the blue greens.
Yeah.
And we with Jim for quite a while, and I agree that for the weekly quantitative sampling, I would go with Aquatic Analysts.
Oh, I agree too. I agree with that. For the little extra cost, I think you get a lot better data, and it's data that's comparable to what we've been collecting the last couple of years now.
Yes, sir.
So cool. If you're good with that, I'm good with that.
I'll make the changes.
How much does it cost to ship the sample out to Aquatic? Just curious.
I think
It's like 10
most
bucks.
I spent on postage to send the samples out, and that was 8 samples at once, was $25. So it's usually about $8 or $9 to send the samples out via U.S. mail.
Okay.
And I did carry some costs in there for transporting the same day samples, but I'll have to do some figuring for the cost for the single samples. I'll have to look in my records because I'm pretty sure that I've got the one that we sent out on the August 25th. I sent that priority overnight, trying to get the results back as soon as possible. It was like $12.
U.S. mail?
That was through the mail.
Okay. So Aquatic Analysts would be about $130 for each sample, right? Including shipping?
Yes,
Okay.
that sounds about. All right, now I got an opinion question. What do you think our chances are of getting Board of Health and RecCom to buy off on this and say, let's do it?
I think very good, because Matt wrote in his last email basically that he really thought the Board of Health was going to assume the cost. Did you see that?
I saw him, that's where I got the real warm and fuzzies from, was Matt's email. I don't think I read that far into it. But
He said, I think, and I'm hoping we can fit this into our general BOH expense account.
I did not see that part. So that would be good. And
They're trying to schedule a meeting, but people are away.
Yep.
Yeah, so my take on it is, as long as the Department of Health says go, the Board of Health will say go.
And hopefully we can get them to pick up the costs of 90% of this, which would be great.
Our Board of Health.
Yes, our Board of Health, not the
Okay.
not the Mass Department of Board of Health.
It doesn't sound like they need a warrant article. They just think they can take it from their budget. Our general BOH expense account.
And I know that Laura Hill was asking for some numbers, and this most recent proposal, it's the might need to do some a little massaging here and there, but I think I've given some pretty accurate numbers. So everybody, please take a look at the proposal again, the most recent one I sent out this evening. And if you have any comments, questions, complaints, and concerns, please feel free to reach out to me.
Exactly how much are we hoping Board of Health will pick up? 6,000?
All of it. Yeah.
The first warrant article too?
Oh no, the first one. That one's our.
That's not HABs. Yeah.
Pratt and Wildwood. Yeah. The second one, which is strictly driven towards this cyanobacteria protocol.
Right. Okay. All right. Right.
So how much, we already had some testing built into our 10,000 or 12,000, whatever it is, for some degree of the aquatic analyst testing, right?
Correct.
So there's no reason why we can't keep that, right?
That's a good point.
I think just for continuity, we're for these for this protocol, we're going to be collecting the water samples right at the beach, right? Like wading in probably a few feet maybe. I'm not sure exactly how they sample for bacteria, if they just dip in from shore or not. But for the other studies we're doing at Pratt Pond, we want to be consistent and be sampling at P1 like we have now for 3 years, P2 maybe, or any other of our standard locations. So those are kind of different samples. I wouldn't say that a beach sample would replace taking a sample at P1.
So effectively, we've added another sampling point at the beach.
And definitely increase the frequency of testing, because now it's going to be weekly.
Yeah.
For some on a water sample.
So the season is about 20 weeks, is that right?
Wayland's is based on a 16-week cycle of holding the beach open. I don't know how long Pratt is open, so that's one of the questions that we have to ask at the when we have our next meeting.
And what did you use did you use 16 or 20 for your
16.
current
Everything.
estimates? Pardon me?
Everything in the protocol is based on a 16-week open season at Pratt.
Okay.
And again, if you can take some time and look through it again and send me some comments, questions, complaints, and concerns, I would greatly appreciate it. Okay. Anything else that we have?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Lori.
I can tell when people are talking because I can't see you. Are we thinking that the beach is open for 16 weeks?
Yes.
The beach with lifeguards, it's officially open somewhere around when the kids get out of school, and I would say it's more like 8 weeks. So maybe we're building an extra if we're thinking 16. I mean, we do testing, but they're only testing when the beach is open, as far as I know.
Well,
That's
yeah.
right. It opens sometime in mid-June, doesn't it?
Right, and it closes by the kids go back to school
The
like
end
the
of
last week, August.
August,
So
yeah.
That's 10
maybe
weeks.
maybe 9 weeks, maybe 10 at the most.
So that would change numbers.
That certainly
will
would.
check.
That's good to know.
Yeah, I'll check with RecCom and see
Yeah.
if what their usual open week season is. I may need to adjust those budget numbers.
And is that the period when the beach has lifeguards?
Yes.
There's
So
lifeguards
effectively,
and
before and after that, there are people who might go swimming or get into the water always doing so at their own risk.
yes, that's always the case.
Yeah, and I think Board of Health is only mandated to test, when the beach is officially open. So that's a really good question.
Yeah, it's not an insignificant difference in cost.
I
could
would
be,
guess
yeah.
that this year the beach is going to open on somewhere around June 22nd if it's a Monday, and probably close on like August 29th or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. The weed treatments typically take place a week before they open.
That's true. Yeah.
So that's really gonna change the budget numbers, because that's cutting. Let's say it's 10 weeks that the RecCom has the beach open. That's almost 40% of the budget numbers that I've asked about right there, because
Right.
Everything in the proposal is based on the beach for 16 weeks, and all I did was copy how long Wayland is doing their testing. So that was a really good question.
And
guys,
are
I
they
just,
doing their testing? I'm curious about if Wayland's doing their testing outside of when the beach is open, or if they're just open way longer.
I'm looking at we've got beach testing results from the Board of Health in Upton. In 24, their first bacteria sample was June 3rd.
So they did it very early.
And I'm gonna,
Okay,
let me just sort through and see where the last one is.
Yeah.
So even if it's 12 weeks, that's 4 weeks short budgeted.
So the last one is the end of August. So it's basically
Wow.
June, July, 3 months. June, July, August, 3 months,
12 weeks. Let's call it 12 weeks.
Right.
I'll check with Maria tomorrow from RecCom and find out exactly how many weeks the beach is open on average, and I'll adjust the numbers from there.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no harm in starting a couple of weeks ahead of time. So, yeah, 12 weeks sounds about right.
Okay, that sounds pretty reasonable. Okay, anything else that we haven't beat up? Anyone wants to talk about?
Thanks for doing that research. Should I contact the person who initiated it, who first asked about it?
I'm not quite sure what you're asking, Lori.
Well, there was a person who asked about that Taft Pond history.
Oh,
And about why the levels are so low and what's the history of the pond, and that's what sort of kicked off this research that Cillian and Bill are going to be doing or have started.
well, if you want to let them know that it's still in work, that would be fine.
Yeah,
but,
I'll do that, yeah.
Yep, and hopefully we'll have something for him very shortly.
Okay, Great.
Now, one thing I did learn over the course of my research is that the dam and mill, sawmill at the time, existed probably in Upton, I'm sorry, in Mendon before that part of Mendon was carved off for Upton.
It's cool.
I can't wait to read them.
And like most of the mills that burned down at some point.
Right. Do you think this would, maybe in the end, it will make some sort of a little bit of a newspaper article? That might be interesting.
Yeah, and it was in the Taft family at the time. It was in Mendon.
Yeah, that the Mendon Upton Free Press might be interested in that story. So
Right.
there's something else we can look at for you, Killian, for your end of year report.
A little citizen science.
Yeah. Okay. So, there anything else? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn and a second. All in favor?
Aye.